Hello everyone, welcome to Gate Academy. So before starting today's session, I would like to have the input as well as the concurrence regarding the quality of video as well as audio. If both had been correct, so just write perfect over the live chat and then we are going to start. If you guys would be able to recall, in last class, approximately 12 number of questions we had taken. In that pattern of question, in a certain given box, total 7 number of balls we had. Among them, the 3 balls were black in color, 2 were red and 2 were blue. And 2 balls were selected. And the selection of the 2 balls were taken in 2 different ways. Simultaneously, that means both of the balls are being taken out simultaneously, and the another way is being the 2 balls are being taken one after another without replacement. So in the same way, the total 12 number of questions is already been taken in the last class. In the same sequence, now we are going to take the 6 more questions. See, the questions which we had taken in the last class and the questions which we are going to take in today's class has been different. Here also total 7 number of balls are been there within the box. Among them, the 3 are been black, 2 are been red, 2 are been blue. But the way 2 balls are being selected has been quite different as we had done it in the last class. In first pattern of the question, simultaneous selection was taken place. In second pattern of the question, the selection were taken place one after another without replacement. But here this has been a problem where the 2 balls are being selected out of 7 with replacement. Agreed? What the problem states: a bag contains 7 number of balls. Out of them, 3 are black, 2 are blue and 2 are red. If 2 balls are withdrawn one after another without replacement, then find the probability. This thing is already been seen in the last class. Yes. And now we had to focus over the next kind of the problem. See, here comes the next kind of problem. Yes. Here also the same kind of the problem is being there, but the pattern of selection is being changed. Here also we have got the 7 number of balls. 3 are been black, 2 are been blue and 2 are been red. 2 balls are been selected, but you can see very well if the 2 balls are withdrawn one after other with replacement. So keep in mind the basic terminology which has been involved with this problem is been with replacement is been a very, very important word. Obviously the pattern of the questions are being bit different than the bunch of the questions which we had taken earlier. Here also total 7 number of balls we had. Let's take this has been a bag. Total 7 number of balls we had. Among them, the 3 balls are being black, 2 balls are being red, and similarly 2 balls are being blue. Let's take the blue is been written as BL and black is been written as 3. See, one ball is being taken out, the color is being seen, again it had been put it back within this box, it had been well shuffled, and the next ball is being taken out. We want to know the different kinds of probability. The first problem says what had been the probability that both of the balls are being the same color and that had been black. May I know what would be the bestmost answer? What had been the bestmost answer? See, in first instance, what had been happening? You had put it your hand inside and the ball which you had to take out has to be color in black. How many different ways it could have done? So out of 7 number of balls, how many different ways the one ball could have been selected? That had been 7C1, that is stands for 7. How many different black balls could have been selected? Out of 3 number of black balls, one ball has to be retrieved. How many ways that could have done? You could have selected the first ball, second ball or third ball. Put together, the result is been 3C1, which stands for 3. And for the end, definitely the multiplication is going to take place. My dear friend, in last class, the question which we had taken one after another, whatever the ball is been taken out, that had been discarded. But here, the same ball has been put in. That means again, this box contains 7 number of balls. Among them, the 3 balls are been black, 2 balls are been red, and 2 balls are been blue. Put together, there had not been any change in the structure of the box itself. So may I know what had been the next requirement? The next requirement is that the second outcome should also be black. How many total balls we had been left out? 7 number of balls we had been left out. How many balls we had been retrieving in the second trial? 1 ball we had been retrieving in the second trial. How many different ways that trial could have been done? That had been 7C1, that is stands for 7. That is stands for 7. Similarly, how many number of black balls we had? Here also the number of black balls are being 3. Put together, what had been the result over here? The result is been 3 divided by 7 has been raised to the power of 2. So that had been the difference between the problem one after another with replacement and without replacement. The type of questions which we had taken in the last class, in yesterday's class, were the questions based on the concept of without replacement. Whatever the ball has been taken out had been discarded, but again had been put it back. Both are red. Again, in first trial, one ball has to be taken out. I want to know what has been its possibility or probability that it's been color in red. How many different ways it could have done? So out of 7 number of balls, the one ball is being selected. How many different ways it could have done? Obviously 7 different ways. How many different ways the red ball could have been selected? That had been 2C1, that it stands for 2. And in the second trial also, when you will put your hand inside, you want the ball to be red. How many different ways the 7 balls could have been selected? 7 different ways. You could have selected first black ball, second black ball, third black ball, first red ball, second red ball, first blue ball, second blue ball. Put together the 7 different ways. You could have selected one ball out of 7 number of balls. So still it remains 7. How many different ways the red ball could have selected? Obviously it has been 2. So the result is been 2 divided by 7 to the power of 2. That's been the difference between without replacement and with replacement. In case of without replacement, what must have been the answer? In first trial, this result would remain same, because the one ball is being taken out. Obviously, how many different ways the one ball could have been taken out of 7 number of balls? That's been 7. How many different ways one black ball could have been selected out of 3 number of black balls? That's been 3. Put together it must have been 3 by 7. But if that black ball is being discarded, now this box has been left out with only and only 6 number of balls, and even the black balls are been left out with only and only 2 number of balls. Now in second trial, if you want the black only, how many different ways that could have done? Now the number of balls are being selected from the box has been 6 now, so rather having denominator as 7, it could have been 6. How many different ways the black ball could have been selected? One ball is already been discarded, that had been left out with 2 only. No, Midhun. In case of without replacement, that must have been 3 divided by 7 into 2 divided by 6. Similarly, if I take the second question, the problem must have been the problem of without replacement. In that case, both of the balls you wants to be red. That means the first ball has to be red, that had been discarded, and the second ball which had to be retrieved has to be red only. See, in first selection, nothing had changed. The complete bag is being filled with 7 number of balls. How many different ways the one ball could have been selected out of 7? That's been 7C1, stands for 7. How many different ways one red ball could have been selected? That's been 2C1, or simply it's been 2. But what had happened, whatever the red ball you had taken out, no, that had to get discarded. That means the replacement is not been possible. You are not been replacing it into. Next also, the next trial also, you want the red ball to be appeared. How many different ways it could have done? Now the total number of balls are being shrunk to 6. So 6 different ways you could have selected one ball out of 6. How many different ways the red ball could have been selected? Already one red ball is been taken out, so it must have been 1 divided by 6. 1 divided by 6. Could you understand? So may I know what must have been the answer over there? This is 2 by 7 into this must have been 1 by 6. That's been the basic difference. And I had seen many of the times a student makes a little bit different distance, or they are not able to understand the basic crux behind the problem which had been asked over the gate examination, and they do mistakes. Yes, they do mistakes. So the same problem would have a different answer. So what I am going to do, I am going to make the 3 different scenarios over the same question. Both are black. This could have been a problem when both of the balls are being selected simultaneously or together. This could have been the first question. The second question has been one after another without replacement. The third pattern of selection could have been in succession, that is mean one after another with replacement. The 3 different questions are being superimposed over the same kind of the problem. May I know what would be the answer in first scenario, second scenario, and third scenario? Whenever you watch any kind of the problem which are been based on the concept of permutation and combination, you should have the clear-cut idea. The selection which had been made simultaneously or in succession with replacement and without replacement, because all 3 selections would lead the different values of probability. Both of the balls are to be black, where both of the balls are being selected together. How many different ways the 2 balls could have been selected out of the bunch of 7? That must have been 7C2, because both of the ball had been retrieved together. Similarly, how many different ways The two black balls could have been selected out of the bunch of three, that is been 3C2, 3C2. This must have been the probability if both of the balls are being selected together. Both of the balls are being selected together. Again, the two balls are being retrieved, or two balls are supposed to be retrieved, but the way the balls are being retrieved had changed its pattern. The balls are being selected one after another, and that too without replacement. Whatever the ball is being taken out, it had been discarded, and then again I had put it my hand inside and I had taken one ball again out. May I know what would be the probability over here? Again, both of the balls is required to be black. The first ball has to be black, and second ball also to be red. So put together, whenever the and do come, obviously the multiplication do come. May I know what had been the possibility that the first ball is going to be black? Out of 7 number of ball, one ball is going to get selected, because you are not going to select two balls together. How many different ways that selection could have done? That has been 7C1, that is stands for 7. Similarly, at the same time, how many different ways one black ball could have been selected? How many black balls we had? Within this bunch, 3 number of black balls we had. The 3 black ball, one is to be selected 3 different ways. We could have done it. Yes, we could have done it. And now the black ball which had been taken out has already been discarded, because this has been the case of without replacement. Now in the second trial also we want the outcome to be black. How many different ways it could have done? Now you had just been left out with the 6 number of balls. Still one ball is to be retrieved. How many different ways it could have done? Obviously, sir, this has been 6 different ways. 6 different ways. Yes, 6 different ways. And towards numerator side, again we want black, whereas the one black ball is already been discarded. So may I know how many different ways it could have done? Only 2C one time. Put together, it has been 2 divided by 6. 2 divided by 6. Now the problem remains same, but the way the balls are being taken out is being changed a bit. Again, the ball is being withdrawn in succession one after another, but the replacement has been made. Whatever the ball is been taken out, we have noticed its color, and again we had put it back within the bag. How many different ways it could have done? See, again, the first term remains same, because again you are been in search of black ball. How many different ways one ball could have been selected out of 7? That has been 7C1. Denominator remains 7. How many different ways the one black ball could have been selected from the bunch of 3? That has been 3C1, and that's been 3 only. That has been 3 only. Yes. And see, last time the ball is been discarded, and that is why there were reduction in total number of balls. The number of balls went from 7 to 6, and similarly number of black balls went from 3 to 2. But here this is not the case. Again the ball is been put it back. That means still you had got a 7 number of balls. Again you are been in search of one ball out of 7. How many different ways it could have done? Obviously 7 different ways. You could have selected first black, second black, third black, first red, second black, first blue, second blue. Put together the 7 different ways you could have selected it. And now if we'll talk about its numerator, how many different ways the black ball could have been selected, my dear friend? Whatever the black ball is been taken out has been put it back. It's still the total number of black balls which you had within the box has been 3. Put together the result which we are be supposed to get, it's been 3 divided by 7 to the power of 2. Is that part clear to all of us? Yes. Midun Matthew, that's been perfect. Subhangi, that has been perfect. Let me do one thing. Let me extend the same question with both are to be read. Again, the 2 balls are being selected together. Could you really understood what had been the difference between together, one after another, with replacement and without replacement? The way the 2 balls are being selected are being quite different. And that is why their probabilities are supposed to be quite different. And I understand many of the students do not exactly know whether this has been the problem of with replacement, without replacement, or together, and they used to just by heart the process, and end of the day they lead a wrong answer. That is what I am saying. Whenever you watch any kind of question, you should also try to filter it out which kind of the problem they have been. Anyways, both have been read. I would like to know from each one of you these 3 answers. May I know what are the 3 answers are been? What are the 3 different answers are been? Both are to be read. My dear friend, as both of the balls are being taken together, how many different ways the 2 balls could have been selected out of bunch of 7? That has been 7C2. How many different ways the 2 red ball could have been selected from the bunch of 2 red ball? Only 1 ways. Or I could have written the 2C2 different ways. The 2 items could have been selected out of 2. Put together, it has simply been 1 divided by 7C2. But here the nature of the problem has been a bit different. Rather taking two balls out together, I had taken one ball out, I had discarded it, and again I had taken one ball out. And I wanted to know a situation, or I wanted to know the probability of the situation where the both of the balls are being red. That means the first ball has to be red. How many total balls we had? The 7 number of balls we had. How many different ways the one ball could have been selected out of 7 number of balls? That's been 7C1. Put together, that's been 7. How many different ways one red ball could have been selected from the bunch of 2? That is been 2C1, and that stands for 2 once again. That is stands for 2 once again. And see, as this has been a problem of without replacement, that means the red ball which had been taken out, red ball which has been taken out is been discarded. The total number of balls which are been left out within the box is been merely 6. Earlier it was 7. One black ball is being taken out, or one red ball is been taken out. So now your box is been left out with a 6 number of balls. How many different ways one ball could have been selected from the bunch of 6? That's been 6C1. That stands for 6 now. That stands for 6 now. And similarly, if we'll talk about the numerator, how many different ways one red ball could have been selected from this bunch? My dear friend, one red ball is already been declined or discarded, and you had just been left out with one red ball. 1C1. How many different ways the one item could have been selected from one item? And that is been one only. That is been one only. One only. Now, let me take a last way of retrieving the two balls, and that has been one ball has been taken out, the color has been noticed, and again it had been put it back within the box, and we wanted to know that the second time the ball which had been taken out, both of the colors are been red. So here it becomes the first time, how many ways the one ball could have been retrieved out of 7? It's been 7C1, that stands for 7. How many different ways one red ball could have been selected from the bunch of 2? That has been 2. Now in second time, what had been happening, the one red ball which had been taken out has not been discarded as per the given problem. It has been put it back. So still you had been left out with the 7 number of balls. How many different ways the next ball could have been selected? It's been 7. How many different ways a red ball could have been selected? Again, the number of red balls are been 2. Is that part clear? So I don't find any of the student would have any kind of doubt, at least till this point. Is that part clear to all of us? I would like to know from each one of you. If it has been clear, just write clear somewhere, and then we'll move ahead. Let me rub this out. Yes. Let me take the third question. And the third question we are going to squeeze in 3 different ways, where both of the balls are being retrieved, withdrawal together, one after another without replacement, one after another with replacement. Is that part clear? Agreed? No? So let me focus over this problem, and then we will move forward. See, one black and one red ball. Again, both of the balls are being selected together. My dear friend, how many different ways the 2 ball could have been selected out of 7 number of balls? Obviously, it's been 7C2. So as far as first question, second question, and third question is being concerned, as 2 balls are being selected together out of 7 balls, how many different ways that 2 balls could have been selected? 7C2 ways. It could have been the first black ball, second black ball. It could have been the second black ball, third black ball. It could have been the first black ball, third black ball. It could have been the first black ball, first red ball. It could have been the first black ball, second red ball. It could have been a second black ball, first red ball. That means total 7C2 different ways the items could have been selected. As it had been clearly given, one black and one red. See, one black and one red. So here comes one red and one black. For black, I had used this color. How many different ways one ball could have been selected from the bunch of 2 red ball? That has been 2C1. If you want, I can straight away write this as a 2 itself. How many different ways one ball could have been taken out from the bunch of 3? That has been 3C1. So obviously this has been the answer, that we wanted to know the probability that the 2 balls are being retrieved from the bunch of 7 balls together. One is being black and one is being red. This has been the answer. Yes, in the same sequence, let me move forward, taking the next question as well. One black and one red. And here the problem is being the problem of without replacement. See, here the 2 situation may come. The first ball which had been retrieved is been red, and the second ball which we had retrieved is been blue. Obviously, it's been my favorable condition. Or the first ball which you had retrieved, it's been black, and the second ball which we had retrieved is been red. In both of the condition, our requirement is getting satisfied. Requirement is getting satisfied. Agreed? So let me focus on the first question first. First part first. Where the AND do come, obviously the multiplication would take place. Wherever the OR do come, addition would take place. Addition would take place. Let me focus over the one ball which has been taken out is to be red. Anyways, out of 7 number of balls, the one ball is being taken out. How many different ways the selection must have been done? 7C1, or first one, second one, third one, 7 different ways it would have done. Now that ball to be red, how many total red balls we had? 2 number of red balls we had. So how many different ways the red ball could have been selected? It's been 2 ways. 2 ways. And for AND, multiplication is going to take place. As this has been a problem of without replacement, that means the one red ball which had been taken out or which has been observed has been discarded. It has not been put it back within the box. So total number of balls which are been left within the box is been 6. So how many different balls are been left out within the box? It's been 6. Still we had again put our hand and we wanted to retrieve a ball to be black. How many different balls are being left out? 6 different balls are being left out. How many different ways one ball could have been selected out of 6? That's been 6. That's been 6. Yes. Now, how many different ways the black ball could have been selected? My dear friend, one thing has been quite sure. One thing has been quite sure. Red ball has been retrieved. That means there had not been any deficiency in black ball. Still the number of black balls which are been there within the box has been 3. How many different ways the one black ball could have been selected out of 3? That has been 3 only. That has been 3 only. Agreed? Or in case of OR, the addition is going to take place. See, if you'll really understand what has been happening over here, if you'll change the order, if you'll change the order, what is going to happen? Here it is going to be 7, and as the deficiency takes place, here it is going to be 6. Towards its numerator, we are going to have 3 because rather having red in first, we had black in first. And now here comes 2. Put together this value and this value is always going to be same. Whenever you had a problem related to without replacement, the first data and the second data would lead always and always a same value. So rather calculating this value, you could have just multiplied this data with 2 and you could have got the answer as well. You could have got the answer as well. Agreed? So this has been the probability that the 2 balls are being taken one after another without replacement. The color is being 1 black and 1 red. This has been the answer. This has been the answer. In the same sequence, let me move forward one after another with replacement. So what had been happening? This could have been the 2 different situation. The first ball which had been taken out is been red, and the second ball which has been taken out is been black. Or the first ball is been black and the second ball is been red. Here the AND do come, and here the OR do come over here. OR do come over here. Yes. So let me start doing the calculation. See, only one ball is being taken at once, no? How many different ways the one ball could have been taken out of 7? It's been 7C1, which stands for 7. How many different ways the red ball could have been selected? How many number of red balls we had within a box? 2 number of red balls we are having in the within box. How many different ways the selection could have done? It is been 2C1, and that's been 2 itself. That's been 2 itself. Yes. And as the AND is being taken place, obviously multiplication is going to take place. But the ball which had been taken out, which is been red, had been put it back within the bag itself. So there had not been any change of the description within the bag. Still, the 7 number of balls we had, out of 7, the 1 ball is been taken out. How many different ways it could have done? It's been 7C1, which stands for 7. And similarly, what is been the different ways the black ball could have been selected? It is simply been 3. Or here also the same data, no? Here also the same data. It becomes 3 into 2. Here also the data is supposed to come same, and whatever the answer you get, that is going to be the best most answer. That is going to be the best most answer. Would like to know from each one of you the comparison table which we have made in the 2 different ways: simultaneous selection, successive selection, without replacement and with replacement. Whether the concept is been clear to all of us. If it has been really clear, write clear somewhere, and then we will move ahead. Whether it's been clear or not. Whether it's been clear or not. Write it down over your copy, because this PDF is already been sent in my Telegram group. So obviously you can take the reference of these problems. You just write the solution part of the each and individual questions. Each and individual questions. Subhangi, clear. Thanks, dear. I would request to each one of you, the student who had been live or who had been following me from starting onwards, at least whenever I ask whether the concepts are being clear or not, at least try to give little bit reply or feedback, so that at least I'll enjoy my class even more. I will enjoy my class even more. Yeah. So probably you guys must have written. We will move into the next question as well. Okay then. Let me move into the next question. None of them are black. None of them are black. Here also we are been having the three different categories together. The two balls which are being taken out are being taken out together, one after another. No replacement is made, discarded, without replacement. And here comes one after another, with replacement. Although this kind of problem is already been done in earlier classes, but still, if we'll have one-to-one comparison nearby, you will have a better understanding, or you will be able to make a better concept. So here comes the first question. None of them are black. What does that mean of it? That means both could be red, both could be blue, or one could be red and one could be blue. Or in common bolchal ki bhasha, if I would try to say, first both had been red, or both are been blue, or one red, one blue. And as the selection has been made together, it has been a very easy question. See, both are been red. How many different ways the two balls could have been selected from the bunch of 7? Obviously, it has been 7C2. Why we had been taking 7C2? Because one thing has been quite sure, that the two balls are being selected together rather having one after another. Yes, 7C2. That has been sure, sir. Both are the balls to be red. How many total number of red balls we had? The two number of red balls we had. How many different ways the two red ball could have been selected from the bunch of 2? That must have been 2C2, and 2C2 stands for 1. Rather writing it 2C2, save your energy and time, and straight away write a 1. Similarly, how many different ways the two blue balls could have been selected, my dear friend? Only two balls we had, and that is been blue. So obviously the way of selection could have been only and only one. One red and one blue. So here comes two different ways the red ball could have been selected, that has been 2C1, and similarly two different ways the blue ball could have been selected, and that has been 2C1. Otherwise you could have simply written this as a 2 into 2. So this many different ways, none of the black ball could have been selected from the selection of two balls from the out of 7 number of balls, and the selection is being taken together. Yes, and here comes one after another without replacement. See what happens. This could have been the first situation. Both are been red. This could have been the second situation. Both are been blue. This could have been the third situation, where the first ball is been red and second ball is been blue. And even you'll have a fourth situation as well, where the first selection had the selection of blue ball and the second selection of red ball. So this has been a situation. The first selection has been the red ball that had been discarded, and the second selection is also been a red ball. So and terminology has been coming in between. Or the first selection has been a selection of a blue ball, and the second selection has been the selection of blue ball. Or the first selection of the selection of red ball that had been discarded, and the second selection has been the selection of blue ball. Or the first selection has been the selection of blue ball that had been discarded, and the second selection has been the selection of the red ball. Did you understand what exactly I had been talking about? So that is what I am saying. If you really do not exactly understand Just try to figure it out, or just try to pictoriate the given problem, and once you'll pictoriate the given problem, definitely your path would become much brisky. Agreed? So what happens over here? How many number of red balls we had, my dear friend? Only two number of red balls we had. So how many different ways the one red ball could have been selected out of two? That's been 2C1, and that's stand for 2. How many total number of ways one ball could have been selected from the bunch of 7? It's been 7C1, and that's stand for 7 only. And now this has been a problem of discard. That means whatever the first selection has been taken place, that had been discarded. Which color has been selected? The red has been selected, and that had been discarded. How many number of red ball has been left out? Only and only one red ball has been left out. How many different ways one red ball could have been selected from the bunch of 1? That has been 1 only. How many number of balls are been left out? Obviously it's been 6. It's been 6. So what you could have done, rather writing it 7 into 6, 7 into 6, 7 into 6 4 different times, you could have done one thing. That has been very sure that in first term, second term, third term, and fourth term, 7 into 6 is going to be common. Because here the number of ways one ball could have been selected, there the bunch were 7, but here it had been reduced to 6. So denominator side will always be 7 into 6. Denominator side will always be 7 into 6. As such, there is no doubt. Yes. Now, if we'll talk about the numerator side, how many different ways the one red ball could have been selected out of 2? That's been 2. How many number of red balls we could have selected? One red ball is already been taken out, so you had been left out with 1. No possibility, only 1. And as the odd do have come over here, the addition is going to come over here. How many different ways one blue ball could have been selected from the bunch of 2? It's been 2 into of 1. How many different ways one red ball could have been selected out of bunch of 2? That's been 2. And now the reduction has been taken place in the family of red ball, and now we had been in search of how many different ways one blue ball could have been selected. Yes, no? And same goes over here as well. The first ball which had been taken out, it's been blue. How many different ways one blue could have selected from the bunch of 2? It's been 2. See, now the reduction is being taken place from the family of blue, but still the number of red balls which are been left out is been 2. How many different ways one red ball could have been selected from the bunch of 2? That is been 2. That is been 2. Did you really understand what exactly had been happening over here? Yes, sir, we are able to understand the exact crust behind the problem which we had been taking over here. Similarly, the next problem which comes into the picture has been one after another with a replacement. So what had been happening? The same thing happens. No, same thing happens, but the replacement had been taken place. And as the replacement had taken place, here it would be 7C1, and here also it would be 7C1, 7C1, 7C1. Everywhere it is going to be 7C1. So if we'll talk about its answer, no, the number of terminologies what we are going to have, it's again been 4. No, red red, blue blue, red blue, and blue red. But at denominator side, we are going to have 7 into 7, which is 10 for 7 square, which is 10 for 7 square. Yes. Okay, then first is been red. How many different ways the first red could have been selected has been 2. How many different ways the second time the red could have been selected? My dear friend, the discard had not been made. That means whatever the ball has been picked out, which has been red, had again been put it back within the box. Still the number of red balls are being 2. How many different ways the one red ball could have been selected from the bunch of 2? That's been the difference. Here it had been 2 into 1, and here it became 2 into 2. Here it was 7 into 6, and here it became 7 into 7. Here it became 7 into 7. Yes, plus here 2 2 2 2 plus 2 into 2, and that must have been your answer. That must have been your answer. Now the remaining questions which you had over here, no, that had been your homework. That had been your homework. I would like to know from each one of you, the student who had been attending my class since very beginning, whether you are finding this sequence of classes to be fruitful or not. Because the student who had been attending the classes in regular basis, they would only be knowing that how fruitful these lectures have been. These lectures have been. So probably Subhangi would be able to tell something. Midun, Matthew would be able to tell something. Write it down, and then we will move into the few more number of questions based on the concept of together withdraw, one after one another withdraw. Okay then. So here comes the next question. Again, these are been the questions based on the concept of probability, but requires the concept of permutation and combination as well. Permutation and combination as well. Find the probability that the 2-digit long number is made by 2, 3, 4 without repetition is always greater than 24, is always greater than 20, is always a even number, is always a odd number, is always divisible by 3. This has been your first question, second question, third question, fourth question, and fifth question. I would like to have the input from each one of you, and whichever the answer is being given, no, you should also refer its question number as well. If let's take the answer is been 1 by 2 for the first question, you should write 1.1 by 2. If the answer is being given from your side, it's been 2 by 3 for the second question, you should write 2.2 by 3. So the exactly 2 to 3 minutes are being given for each one of you to smash this problem out and tell me what could have been the best most answer for this given question. Okay, that's great, Subhangi. Yes, sir, your teaching is great and enjoying the classes. And they are conceptually never understood probability. Okay, but now getting everything. That's great. And one thing has been quite sure. The concept of probability has not been taught yet. I had just been talking about the permutation and combination. With the help of permutation and combination, we had built up few number of questions of the concept of probability. That means yet more number of questions, yet more number of concepts are to become. Read the problem carefully and tell me what could have been the best most answer. So here comes the first question. See, find the probability that the 2-digit long number is made by 2, 3, 4. These are been the 3 digits. With the help of three digits, we had to frame a number which is been a 2-digit long without repetition. How many ways that is always greater than 24? That is always been greater than 24. See, whenever we talk about the probability, we used to have a numerator and denominator. Let's take the numerator has been called of m, denominator has been called of n. The n has been the total number of events in sample space, or how many total different ways the sample space could have been filled with the different events. And towards numerator side, we count the number of favorable event which must be favoring the my event, and which had been that the number must be greater than 24. The number must be greater than 24. May I know how many different ways? First of all, this has been a problem of permutation. Many of the students who had been continuously using the concept of combination, they will have a little bit problem, because as they had been used through of taking combination, they will make mistake over here. Why permutation? If I'll say how many different ways 2-digit long number could have been phrased from digits 2, 3, 4, obviously here selection order do also make sense. If you had selected 2 and 3, 2 then 3 makes 23, 3 then 2 makes 32. So how many different ways the 2-digit long could have been selected, phrased from the these 3 digits are being 3p2. Nobody should have any doubt as such. Thanks, dear Midhun. Yes, it is been 3p2. So I would like to ask from each one of you, Midhun and Subhangi, this concept is being clear to all of us or not? Deliberately, I had brought two different kinds of the problem. The bunch of the questions which we had taken in the last class, the bunch of the questions which we had taken in the first of this class, they were based on the concept of combination, because we were selecting something, but their order did not make any sense. See, now here we had a situation. 3 digits are being offered to you. With the help of 3 digits, you had to make a 2-digit long number. How many different ways the 2-digit long number could have been selected or retrieved from this 3 digits without repetition? How many different ways? That is been, this has been a 2-block long number. In first block, total 3 possibilities are been there, and in second block, total 2 possibilities are been there. How many different ways the 2-digit long number could have been phrased from 3 digits without repetition has been 6. It's been 6, and that could also be written as 3 factorial divided by of 3 minus of 2 factorial, or n factorial n minus of r factorial, and that is stands for permutation. That is stands for permutation. That is stands for permutation. So towards denominator side we are going to have 3p2. Yeah. Now we had to focus over the number of events. See, this many numbers we can frame. That about how many they have been? 6 they have been. If you want, we can write it down. 2 and 3 is been selected at very beginning. So the number could have been 23 and 32. Secondly, 3 and 4 is being selected. So the number could have been 34 and 43. Similarly, 2 and 4 had been selected together. The number could have been 24 and 42. So there are been the 6 different ways the 2-digit long number could have been phrased with the digits of 2, 3, 4. The digit of 2, 3, 4. Yes, yes, sir. We can understand. May I know, out of 6 number of digits, how many number of digits which are been having the worth greater than 24? 23, obviously it's been lesser than 24. 32, yes, bingo. 34, bingo. 43, bingo. 42, bingo. Has to be greater than 24, no? So how many different events which are been my favorable events? It's been 1, 2, 3, 4. So the result is simply going to be 4, 3p2. 4, 3p2. Agreed? Agreed? So I don't find any of the student would have any kind of doubt, at least at this moment of point. This moment of point. The next important point, which is a very, very important point. What has been the possibility that the 2-digit long number which has been phrased is being greater than 20? My dear friend, all of the numbers are going to be greater than 20 only. Why? The least second digit number or least 10th digit number which we can pick is being 2. And as the 2 has been already fixed in the first block, either the 3 or the 4 is going to come in the second block. If 3 comes, that becomes 23. If 4 comes, that becomes 24. So the least number which you can phrase is being 23 only. The least number which you can phrase is 23 only. And here they had been talking about a situation, how many different ways a number could have been phrased which worth is being greater than 20. So obviously here also it is going to be all of the numbers are being greater than 20, and it is been a certain event. It has been a special kind of the probability where the occurrence of the event is being certain, that is going to happen at any cost. Whatever the number you phrase, the number would always have a worth greater than 20. If you don't understand, you have a look of this bunch. 23 has been bingo, it's been greater than 20. Here goes 32 is also been greater than 34, 43, 24, 42. Everything is been greater than. So obviously, it is been a certain event. It is been a certain event. Anyways, certain event, impossible event are been the two special case of probabilities that we are going to discuss once we'll go into the detailed study of the probability. Detailed study of the probability. Here goes the next question. Is always an even number? Is always an even number? Again, out of 3 digits, the 2 digits are being selected for phrasing a number. How many different ways it could have done? It is been 3p2, because the 2 items are being selected and their order do also make sense. So obviously this has been a problem of permutation. So the result is been 3p2. The result is been 3p2. And now it had been clearly said the number has to be even. What does that mean by the number has to be even? See, there are two possibilities. The units place could have been filled with 2, or units place could have been filled with 4. In both of the situations, the number which we are going to phrase is going to be an even number, because in units place, if the number is being even by default, that given integer becomes a even integer. Now, just try to understand in this way. The 2 is been fixed over here, 4 is been fixed over here. If 2 is been fixed, only one block has been left out. And as the 2 had been fixed, this 2 cannot be repeated further. And you had just been left out with a 3 and 4. How many different ways the 2 digit could have been filled in one block? 2 different ways. Either it could have been 3, then it becomes 32. Either it could have been 4, then it becomes 42. How many different ways? 2. 2 different ways the even number could have been made where the units place has been filled with 2. And whenever the odd do come, mathematically the addition is going to take place. As far as n converts multiplying or converts addition, I had not been discussed in the great detail, but once we'll be talking about the concept of tree structure, then I will express why the multiplication comes from and addition comes from or. Addition comes from or. Same happens over here. Now the in units place the 4 has been fixed. How many different possibilities are been left out with these blocks? The 2 possibilities, and it could have been maybe 2, it could have been maybe 3. So 2 possibilities are still been left out. And here the result which we are supposed to get, it's simply gonna be 4 divided by 6 divided by 6. Yes, you could have done one more important thing. See, even and odd both are been mutually exclusive. The word mutually exclusive might be looking very difficult for you guys, but anyways, once we'll go into the detailed analysis, everything would be quite clear. So rather searching the even number, you could have searched the odd number, and the searching of odd number has been quite easy because only and only one odd number we had over this problem. So what we could have done, 1 minus the probability for the selection of a odd number out of 3 digit, 2 digits are to be selected. Still it must have been 3p2. How many different ways the odd number could have been selected? See, if the number is to be odd, the units place must have been fixed with 3. How many different ways? The tens place must have been filled. Either it could have been filled with 2 or 4. So 2 different ways. Put together, it has been 1 minus 2. 3p2 is 6. 6 minus of 2 is still been 4 divided by 6. The answer has been same. Yes, we can. That is what I am saying. Subhangi, if number of items which are being selected is been 1, order do not make any sense. Order do make sense when the number of selected items are being more than 1. See, my dear friend, if you had selected only and only one calculator from the bunch of plenty of calculator, there the sequence would not come because only and only one item is being selected. If 2 items are being selected, let's take one calculator, one remote. So there the order may also come into the picture. First remote, then calculator, or first calculator, then remote. So whenever the selection of the item is been 1, the order hardly makes sense. The fourth question, probably this question is already been knocked off. The probability that the number is being odd, so simply is gonna be 4 divided by 6. 4 divided by 6. Here comes the possibility or probability that the number which has been 2 digit long is been divisible by 3. What has been the divisibility property of number with 3? The addition of individual numbers together must be divisible by 3. That means if you select 2 and 3, that adds to be 5. Obviously it's been a non-divisible by 3, so 23 or 32 is not going to be divisible by 3. 3 and 4 together becomes 34 or 43. If you add them together, the result has been 7, and as the 7 has not been divisible by 3, again you can't use 3 and 4 together to form a 2 digit long number. But if you take 2 4 together, either it's been 24 or 42, both of the numbers are been divisible by 3. So as far as this problem is being concerned, towards denominator side, how many different ways 2 digit long number could have been phrased out of 3 digits without repetition? Out of 3 items, 2 items are to be selected, and their ordering do also make sense, because if 2 and 3 had been selected together, if 2 is been placed first and 3 is been placed second, it makes 23, and if the swapping is made, it makes it 32. Yes. How many different ways? Obviously, sir, 2. Either this could have been 2 4, or it could have been 4 2. It could have been 24, or it could have been 42. This has been the answer. Yes. 2 by 6. Yes, Midun, that has been perfect. The answer for the question 4 has been 2 by. So I would like to ask from each one of you whether the concept behind this question has been clear or not. It has been clear, no? So let me do one thing. Let me send this PDF to my Telegram group. So you can pick this PDF from there itself. So you need not to write each and individual question. Just do one thing. Write all of the important concepts which have been taught over the class. Leave the questions or the space for the question, and taking the reference of this PDF, you can complete the question as well as solution both. Question as well as solution both. So here comes the question. Here comes the question. So here, yes, it's been sent. My Telegram group has been 123 DF. The student who had been following me since very starting must also be the part of this Telegram group. Other student who had been new, no, they can join this Telegram group, and there the PDF is already been sent. The PDF is already been sent. Yes, my dear friends. So here I had been changing the nature of the problem. Still we had three number of different digits, 2, 3, 4. But with the help of this 3 digits without repetition, we are going to make 3-digit long number. Earlier problem was the problem where we had made a 2-digit long number. 2-digit long number. Yes. Let me focus over this problem. Find the probability that the 3-digit long number is being made by 2, 3, 4 without repetition. What does that mean by the without repetition? That means if within a number 2 is been used once, you can't use in future. Yes. That means the number could have been 2, 3, 4, it could be 3, 4, 2, but it can't be 2, 3, 2 because the 2 has been repeated twice. No, we can't have that situation. Now, we want a situation, or we want a possibility or probability that the number should always be greater than 230. Should always be greater than 230. My dear friend, how many different ways the 3-digit long number could have been phrased from the 3 digits that had been 3? And as the selection and ordering do all come together, here it had been a problem of permutation once again. Permutation once again. Most important thing, as you are going to phrase the 3-digit long number, the least number which you can phrase is being by keeping the least number in its hundreds place. That part must be knowing, no? If you want to make the least number, what you do, you start from the highest weightage place and you start feeding the least values over there. Least values over there. So among 2, 3 and 4, what had been the least value? 2. So we had fixed it at the first place. At the first place. Yes. Now here comes the 10th place. Again, the least value has to be fed over here. The 2 is already been used, so you had just been left out with 3 and you had been left with 4. So with the help of 2, 3, 4, the least 3-digit long number which we could have phrased is just been 2, 3, 4. That had been the least number. And here in this problem, they had been asking what had been the possibility or the probability that the number is being greater than 230. As the number which we had phrased, the least number is being phrased as 234. So by default, all of the remaining number which has been 243, maybe 432 or maybe more 23, it is going to be greater than 234. So how many number? All numbers are being greater than the value of 230. So again, it is going to be a certain event. If you'll make any kind of number with the help of 234, by default that number would exceed 230. So the result is been 1. Is always greater than 300. So I would request to each one of you, this has been the first question which has been solved by me. I want the answer from each one of you for the question number 2, 3 and 4. Question number 2, 3 and 4. I would like to have the input from each one of you. Anyways, let me focus over the second question. Here also, as you had been making 3-digit long number, how many different ways that 3-digit long number could have been made, or how many number of events are been there in sample space? That is been 3p3. this many number of events you had over the sample space. And then here we will be talking about the number of favorable conditions. The number of favorable conditions. The number of favorable conditions that we'll be talking over here. So what's going to be the number of favorable conditions? The number is always greater than 300. 300. My dear friend, just try to understand in this way. If the 100th place is being filled with 3, the remaining place would be filled by 2 then 4 or 4 then 2, but both of the numbers are going to be greater than 300. So by filling 3 in its 100th place is been more than adequate to make this number greater than 300. Agreed, sir. Or if in 100th place the number which has been filled is been 4, be happy, this number also will be greater than 300. Agreed. But if 100th place is been filled with 2, that's been the problem, because if you feed 2 then 3 then 4 or 2 then 4 then 3, both of the numbers are been lesser than 300. Lesser than 300. Agreed what I'm saying? So here this has been the situation. 3 is been frozen. How many different ways the 2 items could had been selected and could had been ordered? How many different ways? 2p2. If you don't understand, if you don't want to use the concept of permutation, how many different ways this box could have been filled? 2 and 4 has been left out. The 2 different ways this box could have been filled. How many ways this box could have been filled? See, the 3 is already been frozen. 1 again has been frozen, so you had been just left out with 2. So 2 possibilities are been there over here. 2 possibilities. And that is been 2p2. And similarly, here also the 2 possibilities we have been left out with. We have been left out with. So the result which we are supposed to get, it's been 2 plus 2, that is been 4, and towards denominator side 3p3, that is been 3 factorial, and here becomes 4 divided by 6, 2 divided by 3, 2 divided by 3. Agreed? Yeah. Is always an even number. If it has been always an even number, here also again the same situation has been taken place. The unit place has been fixed with 2, or unit place has been fixed with 4. And towards denominator side, how many different ways? The 3-digit long number could have been phrased with 3 digits, and that's been 3p3. And that's been 3p3. That's been 3p3. 3p3 again stands for 6. How many different ways? This 2 blocks could have been filled with 2 digits. Obviously the sequence do also make sense. It has been 2p2, or it's been 2 into 1. Put together it's been 2 plus of 2. It again been 4 by 6, which stands for 2 divided by 3. Which stands for 2 divided by 3. Is always a odd number. That means the unit place has been fixed with 3. That is it. And now this has been left out with 2 divided by 6. 2 divided by 6. Yes. My dear friends, I would request to each one of you, on 19th of June, 19th of June at 8 p.m. we are going to conduct the scholarship test for our test series. So the student who had not joined our test series yet, they should appear in a scholarship test, because such a huge offer we had been providing. But keep aside offer and discount and all. What I am saying, the way we had been putting such a huge effort over the test series, my phone has been dead. In daily basis, 2 to 3 hours we had been putting over the test series. We look into each and individual questions. We used to take the feedback from the each and individual teachers, what kind of the questions we had, and at the same time we have been providing the 100% video solution for the each and individual question. Such a huge effort we had been putting. And how much charge we had been charging to you guys? In electronic side, approximately 2000 number of questions we had. For that we had just been charging 1000 rupees. That means for one question merely you had been paying somewhere 50 paise, where you will be given with a proper test platform, where you will be given with the questions with proper text solution, and where you will be given with the proper video solution. What else you want? I'm very sure about it. Once you'll go through our test series, you will really like the selection of the questions, and at the same time the complete phrase of the test paper. Complete phrase of the test paper. So I would request to each one of you try to get enrolled in our scholarship test. So this is all for the today's class. We will meet tomorrow precisely at same time, and tomorrow onwards we are going to take the questions from the previous year gate. I would request to each one of you try to share this link to max of your college goers, maybe your colleagues, so that they will also be able to familiarize the development. Agreed? So this is all for the today's class. We are going to meet tomorrow precisely at same time. Till then, bye bye. Take care.